So, Matthew, what's the dirt? Dirty boy, nose beers, that white guy, you definitely got my attention. And not because of Drake, not because of Kendrick, and not because of a 6-hour lyrical dissertation where you treat hip hop like you're grading an anthropology paper from a cabin in Saskatchewan. No, you got my attention because you decided to come after somebody I actually rock with. You came after the homie Big Zoe. I mean, not directly. You came after some other folks as well. Again, not directly because
you are a bitch.
But when you start taking shots at people I respect, you have to understand something. And this isn't just coming from me. This is probably coming from a lot of people. You're not getting a response. You're most likely going to get the not like us response. You're also getting the video essay equivalent of somebody unplugging your microphone at the award show while the entire crowd sings along. But this isn't a disagreement. This is a reality check. And Matthew, dirty boy, you have been overdue for one, especially one that comes directly from everybody in the culture.
I got fame.
Mic check. Mic check. All right. What it do, Fame family? What it do? Enough of that. Let's get right into this because today I have something on my mind, and I think in reality I've been waiting for this moment, but it just took a little bit of encouragement to get here. So again, welcome back to the channel. Today we're exposing, today we're analyzing, today we're dissecting and delivering a long overdue verbal audit to the man himself. What's the trash? Or as some of you may know him as, Matthew Smith, dirty boy, what's the dirt, nose beers, that white guy, and half a dozen, probably even more nicknames. As a matter of fact, we'll take this opportunity and drop your favorite nickname for What's the Dirt in the comments below. Let's just get started and with the conversation. So Dirty Boy Matthew, aka the Hip Hop Hall Monitor, or Drake's White Glazed Donut, also the Canadian Colonizer, and Captain Culture Police. Hey, look who showed up late to the party. Yeah, he heard the messiness. So anyways, where was I? Right, Captain Culture Police, Mr. Everybody Else is Toxic but himself, because apparently Matthew believes he gets to decide what is and isn't good for hip hop, which is fascinating considering he spent many years standing outside the house looking through the window, trying to convince everybody he lives there. Now, I won't be too long-winded today because when I was reflecting on what I can say about Matthew, there isn't much that already hasn't been said by the likes of Curtis King, Deleted, Absa, The Ville, and the list goes on. But let's establish something immediately. Hip-hop does not require permission slips from Saskatchewan, which is where I believe What's the Dirt is from. So hip hop is a community. Hip hop is lived experience. Hip hop is relationships, it's neighborhoods, it's regional identity, it's history, it's collaboration, it's accountability. And even more than that, hip hop is people. And Matthew has consistently treated hip hop like a downloadable software package. Like if he studies enough lyrics, collects enough references, watches enough creators, reads enough Reddit threads, Eventually, he'll become the authority. But that's not how hip hop works. At best, you're a documentarian. At best, you're a commentator. At best, you're a visitor. And visitors don't become landlords. That's where Matthew loses people. He talks about culture while simultaneously showing very little understanding of community. Again, the word is community. Because community isn't followers. Let's just get that straight. I know Dirty Boy Matthew likes to brag about how many followers he has and subscribers, but that isn't community. Community isn't subscribers. Community isn't analytics. Community is trust. Community is reciprocity. Community is showing love. Community is people wanting you in the room. And Matthew keeps finding himself escorted out of rooms he desperately wants access to. And when it comes to what's the dirt, my biggest issue isn't Drake. My biggest issue isn't his Kendrick disses. My biggest issue isn't even fan wars. Although I'll get to his fans later. It's the audacity. Imagine being a white Canadian content creator lecturing black creators and hip hop veterans about authenticity. I mean, picture that, because I can't. Imagine looking at people who have lived this, built communities, supported artists, created spaces, and deciding they're fraudulent. Meanwhile, your entire argument sounds like somebody reading Yelp reviews about a restaurant they've never eaten at. Matthew says gatekeeping is toxic. No, you damn weirdo. Gatekeeping is why cultures survive. Every culture has boundaries. Every culture protects itself. Every community decides what values matter. And when people say, hold on, maybe you don't get to define this, suddenly Matthew treats it like oppression. But no, that's accountability. Because perfect example, let's go to exhibit number 1.
The thing that gets me about like these sorts of channels, like these Drake hate channels, is like a lot of these guys have really tried to position themselves as being the voice of the culture, like being the real. We are the ones who are representing the culture in the right way. We are the gatekeepers. We are the authentic version of the culture. But when you look at their channels, they're not doing anything positive for the culture. They're literally some of the most toxic people in the space. Like this channel, for example, constantly calls out academics.
This is what did it here. First of all, you don't acknowledge any of the content creators, which is very disrespectful. You don't even articulate what exactly positive they aren't doing for the culture, which I know Zoe personally, and he highlights a lot of positive stories. This guy typed in Drake into his channel, and he's only showing a small portion of the videos that he has. And because he typed in Drake, obviously, they're going to show all the Drake related videos. But Zoe has a catalog of, first of all, percentage wise, very few Drake videos. And most of them are reacting to anything from new artists to current events. I'm sure if I went to What's the Dirt's channel, I would find very few music reaction videos and more videos based on Kendrick versus Drake than anything else, because this guy doesn't know how to make content
when he's basically doing the same thing himself. There's a bunch of these channels that live for negative articles or news about Drake. Here's another one, another cultural crusader, right? Drake is selling OVO because he's broke. Drake hates women. Drake doesn't want...
I mean, I might not be the biggest fan of Afsa's channel. She seems like a very cool individual. It's just the style format hasn't really been for me, but she makes very good points. Drake does hate women. He says it himself in the music. And one thing that Afsa does very unique is that she does really good legal research videos. So I do recommend, if you're specifically into the legal aspect of things, go give Afsa a follow. She does well in that aspect.
Want respect. He wants to be desired. Do you guys feel like this is benefiting hip-hop culture? Do you think this is making a change? Do you think this is positive? Do you think this is moving the genre forward? Do you think this is helping? Then there's people like Glasses Malone, who's covering a lawsuit against Drake's OVO clothing company. Absolutely nothing to do with hip-hop music or pushing.
That has everything to do with hip-hop, because hip hop isn't just music, it's culture, it's clothing, it's graffiti, it's dance, it's you name it. Everything that falls under the umbrella of hip hop is hip hop. Now, the reason why Dirty Boy Matthew doesn't like that video specifically is because it's calling out his supplier. Supplier of what? Ask him, because he seems to have a mouthful of glaze every single time he opens his mouth. And the thing about Glasses is that he's an actual hip hop artist. He's not like one of us content creators who has never been in the industry. Glasses actually knows what he's talking about. So if anybody has any knowledge and expertise on anything related to hip hop, whether it's lawsuits, brand issues, music issues, Glasses is the guy to talk about that. And not only that, but Glasses has been one of the biggest champions of protecting hip hop. And look, Glasses is not completely biased because Glasses has said in the past that Drake makes very popular music. And so that comment alone should tell you that he'll never call Drake a horrible artist. I've never heard him say that. He actually compliments Drake on a regular basis, but he says that he's not for the culture and that he's not good for hip hop.
The culture forward. In fact, you think a lot of these guys, if they did care that much about the culture, that they would kind of look in the mirror and say, damn, maybe we're doing more harm than good. Maybe waking up every day and spreading hate against one man isn't actually doing anything for hip hop. Maybe, just maybe, we're part of the problem. And look, I'm just speaking facts. In many
No, you're not speaking facts. That's not facts at all. You're speaking with opinion. You're speaking out of your ass, and I think you're speaking from the heart because you're in love with Drake. I think that's basically the gist of it.
ways, these types of channels are even worse for hip hop because they only focus on hating one man. Zero passion or care goes into this content. Like in reality, the biggest haters and the most
It would be worse if the community hated on multiple artists, but they're equally hating on one person. And I think hate's a strong word. They're criticizing a person who makes it easy for them to criticize. The issue with you is that you don't know what accountability is. You run from accountability at every turn. So holding your artist that you love accountable, it gets under your skin. The problem with Drake is he's like you. And I think that's why you're attracted to him so much, because you see him inside you. Again, you see him inside you. Pause, but let's continue.
toxic YouTube channels on the entire internet are pro Kendrick channels. They're some of the most toxic people in the space. They're some of the worst people in the space, and that's just a fact. And
you keep saying that's just a fact, but it's not a fact. That's your opinion. And it just so happens that people who gravitate towards Kendrick know about accountability. There are more Kendrick fans and channels that if Kendrick did something similar to what Drake is doing, each and every one of them would call him out, including myself. So we aren't the same, not by a long shot. Because while you protect everything that Drake is doing, while you defend it with every load of mouthful of glaze, we, on the other hand, are not as tribal. I mean, do we get defensive? Sometimes, because the man doesn't speak up for himself. I mean, Kendrick is living his best life without the care of the world. And we're over here feeling like we have to answer for every shot taken at him, when in reality, we don't. And Kendrick doesn't care. That's the problem. And I think that's the problem that you have with him, is that he doesn't care, because Drake does care. And every opportunity that he gets to voice that opinion, he'll do it. Most of the time, not even directly. Insults and disdain, but you can tell when he's hurt. And that's every time he's in front of that camera.
this is how I know a lot of these people don't really care about the culture like that, because if they did, they would recognize what they're doing isn't doing anything beneficial. In fact, they're making it worse. Day by day, video by video, they're contributing to the negativity. They're contributing to the hate. They're quite literally some of the most negative voices and toxic people in the space, bar none. What I'm saying is,
And why don't you mention their name? Because I know you don't want smoke with Jay Nolan. I know you don't want smoke with Big Zoe, but you sure as hell use them. You're using them now as clout. So again, you're mad because you think they're bringing negativity to hip hop when the negativity, if anything, or criticism is towards Drake. And to you, Drake is your whole world. So I guess by relation, Drake is hip hop, but he's not.
It's common sense, right? Like if you really care about the culture as much as you say you do, then you wouldn't be running a drama channel. You wouldn't be contributing to the toxicity in hip hop. You wouldn't be spreading hate. You wouldn't be spreading negativity. That is 99% of these guys' channels. So no, none of these people are for the culture. I've said it for a long time. These people are for their bank accounts. They use the word culture because it's a...
You talk about bank accounts while wearing a happy dad hat. We'll get into that shortly, but the biggest hypocrite in the content creator space is calling out actual gatekeepers because he can't get in, because that's the real reason why.
Great way to pull people in, but at the end of the day, none of these guys are for the culture, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, that video, it's like my third time watching it and it annoys the shit out of me, but I kind of want to see how Zoe reacted because I wanted to shed his perspective if you haven't seen it.
The fact that you always have the culture in your mouth when you want to talk about any black creators is just funny to me, man.
I mean, the culture for the culture. Another one, another cultural cruise benefiting hip hop culture or pushing the culture forward. Care that much about the culture, really care about the culture. Like if you really care about the culture, none of these people are for the culture. Use the word culture, but none of these guys are for the culture, bro.
Shut up. Shut up.
Dawg, let's get straight into it. We ain't gonna play no games. I ain't gonna play around because I got shit to do, right? Last thing I expected to do on this amazing Friday is to come on here and talk about this motherfucker. And we gonna go straight to the nitty gritty with this shit. This is where I wanna start, man, because I know it's a lot of shit to talk about. It's a lot of different things that we could get into, but I ain't even gonna break it down like that, man. I'm gonna just keep it real right now. We gonna talk about what needs to be talked about. Literally, I took a random Thursday off, and the chat know, the Discord know. If I go make a quesadilla, some shit go on. If I take a break, some shit go on. I took some time to chill, you know, mental reset, all the good stuff. And then I log on to Discord the next morning, and everybody talking about me getting mentioned. Well, not technically getting mentioned, because he ain't say my name. Shit, where I come from, say the name, dog, you know? But whatever, man, we gonna keep this shit moving, right? So it wouldn't be the first time that I got mentioned, right? I mean, people have the right to their opinions as much as I do, man. But I was told, and I seen, he brought me, Jay Nolan, Absa, Charles, and pointed out some other content that he had us labeled all in the same shit as fraudulent creators masking behind the culture. Now, first, before I start, man, I wanna say shout out to Absa because I watched one of the breakdowns that she did about him, which goes far into like where he from and all the shit that he's doing, and I think it was an amazing breakdown. I think she did a...
I also watched this breakdown, and she said it was a revisiting an old video that she made, but it's still relevant. Again, she does great work over there at her channel, so I do recommend go checking out her channel. For me, it was just it's a different type of pace, and maybe I don't have the patience for that, but no, I do recommend her. She makes great content still, but yeah,
good job. I'm telling y'all right now, I think it's absolutely a must watch. You see what I did there? You see? Hey, man. Hey, I'm funny as hell, man. Hey, man. Hey, drop a bomb for me, man. God damn, man. Stop playing with me, man. But no, on some real shit, She did a breakdown that I think is worth watching to really get an in-depth explanation of who this guy is. And I'll try to link it for y'all in the description if I can remember to do that. But comment and tell her Zoe sent you, but don't use my joke, all right? Don't use my joke. Damn, drop another bomb for me, man. God damn it. Okay, now look, man, I think it's important for me to explain a couple of things, right? Now, I started this channel initially talking about random topics with the homies, man. I mean, the people who have been here from the jump, y'all already know, man. Eventually, things kind of shifted a little bit. The homies got their own lives. They got busy. So I decided to go at this on my own, right? And I switched it up, which is normal for a lot of channels on YouTube, man. I mean, I started covering hip-hop topics, and the people who've been here, y'all already know. I don't got to explain it to y'all, man. And at the time, the Kendrick, Lamar, and Drake battle, that was something that was sparking up. And honestly, that did a lot for my channel reach, man. I'm not gonna lie. As it did for a lot of people, including this guy.
I'm that white guy.
But you know what it didn't do? It didn't change me, This is the same fucking Zoe you saw back then that you gonna see today. None of that shit changes. This
Tell 'em,
Zoe right
Zoe.
here been the same Zoe since I was doing sports content on the Miami Heat. If you know, you fucking know. But then I seen this.
Like this channel, for example, constantly calls out academics when he's basically doing the same thing himself. There's a bunch of these channels that live for negative articles or news about Drake.
Now look, man, I stand behind the everybody got their right to their own
Not
opinion
now.
thing, right? I stand
Not now.
behind that firmly, dog. So I know people expect me to go off and cook you like an unseasoned drumstick, but I won't turn the stove on for this, man. My light bill too high, dog. Shit crazy. This right here ain't nothing but a light sear, you know, one side, like a fucking scallop.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir. You are a hip-hop scallop. Now, what's the scallop? Let's start with the claim that I constantly make videos calling out academics.
Like this channel, for example, constantly calls out academics when he's basically doing the same thing himself.
Yes, the I do.
Oh
I
my
constantly
God.
call out academics when he lies. I call him out when he tries to run narratives that require a different angle of looking at it. I provide an objective take on the things he says. I have also, in some content, agreed with the things that he said. What I never do
That's
is
true.
miss the opportunity to crack a joke on academics.
Yes,
Look at the screen.
that's mine.
And I guess you don't like it.
I would never like it.
And through this entire battle, trust me, he has provided way too much material. I call him out when he calls people who defend the culture woke shit. I called him out when he purposely joked to his audience that Kendrick lyrics were him talking about how he was touched by a family member. I call him out when he run his narratives on academics TV. So yes, I call out your friend that you refuse to call out yourself as you generate the audacity to call out people about being gatekeepers.
We are the gatekeepers. We are the authentic version of the culture.
You sound like the guy calling the club whack after the bouncer put his hand on your chest and said, get the on. Yet you call yourself a friend of academics, and even you can never call out his own shit. As somebody who wants to be in the space so bad, you can't call out anything that he does, but yet you call him your friend. And that right there shows me that you ain't never had no real motherfuckers in your entire life, because you don't even know what that looked like. And you know what? I call him out because, bruh, that's what the I do, because I do what I want on my channel. Now, I won't lie. I only saw your clip because I was getting tagged and people in my Discord sent it to me, because I honestly don't like your content. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, man. And I don't think I've ever agreed with you. I'm sure I could agree with you on some things, maybe at some point, if I watched, but I don't, man. So there's that. And that's not to knock what you do, man. I would never do that to another content creator. Dude, apparently you were really good at one point of time. Hell, I know some creators that actually know you and have had conversations with you. But
I'm gonna cut you off there, Zoe, because I think it's very important for anybody watching this video who hasn't watched his video to go watch it. I'm gonna let him finish in his channel because I don't want to take the views away. But go ahead and after this video, I'm gonna have the link to this video. So go check him out. He does do a lot for the community, as I've said, and he does give credit where credit is due. He's a lot better man than I am, because fuck that. What's the Trash has been on a roll for a while, and we've let him. We have. Because here's exactly where What's the Dirt crossed the line. Because Big Zoe puts work in his content. I've seen it. I've been inspired by this guy, and I know how much work goes into this thing we call content creation. We're not stuck on just a Kendrick versus Drake battle. We're out here covering many topics, and there's no harder working individual like Zoe and many of the people in this community. In fact, anybody paying attention knows that. Different topics, different conversations, different perspectives. And Matthew reduced that to you're toxic, you're negative, you're bad for culture. The word culture coming out of your fucking mouth. That's wild coming from somebody whose brand literally has the word dirt in it. You named yourself after toxicity. You're basically radioactive commentary. You can't spend years monetizing controversy and then suddenly become Professor Hip Hop Ethics. You don't become the culture police because Drake had a rough year. You don't get to become the morality committee because people criticize your favorite artist. let me cut my promo. And here's the truth. People are not rejecting Matthew because he's Canadian. People are rejecting Matthew because he's of perceived entitlement. People are rejecting Matthew because of perceived entitlement, because of tone, because of behavior, because people don't like feeling studied, categorized, analyzed, and then spoken down by somebody they never considered an authority in the first place. Now, this is where things get interesting. So, Matthew, if you're watching this because you follow my fucking channel, I don't know why. I don't know why you're subscribed. And I'm glad I blocked you the moment that I got that notification. Here's where things get interesting. Matthew's alliance with Drake fandom changed everything. Once upon a time, people saw him as a lyric breakdown guy. Now, people see a defender. People see a partisan. People see somebody emotionally invested in protecting a narrative. And once you become identified with the camp, you inherit that camp's baggage. Suddenly, criticism feels personal. Suddenly, creators become enemies. Suddenly, everybody is a hater. Everybody is toxic. Everybody is destroying culture, except the people standing next to you. Funny how that works. Culture isn't aesthetics. Culture isn't slang. Culture isn't playlists. Culture isn't reaction thumbnails. Culture isn't 20 tabs open on Reddit. Culture isn't participation. Culture is participation. Culture is showing up. Culture is supporting artists before they're famous. Culture is relationships. Culture is community memory. And Matthew seems to think culture can be reverse engineered, like it's IKEA furniture from Saskatchewan. Read instructions, tighten bolts. Congratulations, you're now hip hop. Fuck no. That's not how this works. And that's why the phrase, I'm doing what's best for culture, coming from him feels bizarre. Because culture isn't something you claim ownership over. Culture decides if it embraces you, not the other way around. Now, BigZoe called him a hip hop scallop. And honestly, that's hilarious because scallops sear quickly. They look impressive on the surface level, but they don't have the depth of a slow cooked meal. That's Matthew. Presentation, editing, research, aesthetics, production value, but people increasingly question the substance, question the perspective, question the motivation, question whether this is passion or is it positioning, love or leverage. Matthew, you can disagree with creators all you want. You can debate people. You can argue Drake. You can defend albums. You can defend artists. But the second you start declaring yourself authority over authenticity, people are going to ask, who made you king? Or look at this colonizer. Anyways, who handed you the keys? Who invited you to moderate the conversation? Because there is no we, maybe in Canadian French, but there never was. You're not the spokesperson. You're not the gatekeeper. You're not the ambassador. You're a commentator at best. And commentators don't get to rewrite the rules because they're upset the audience isn't applauding anymore. Maybe hip hop isn't your forever lane. Maybe country music is calling. I hear Post Malone needs somebody to hype him up. Maybe rock criticism is waiting. Maybe film analysis, maybe literally anything else. Because if your relationship with hip hop has become arguing with creators, policing communities, and defending Drake like you're on salary, then maybe it's time to ask a difficult question. Do you actually love culture, or do you love proximity to it? At the end of the day, people support authenticity. People support community. People support community. People support creators who build bridges, not creators who walk into rooms with clipboards grading everybody else's membership cards. Matthew crossed the line when he came after creators because Drake versus Kendrick was entertainment. That was fan wars. Everybody picked a side, fine. But attacking creators who built communities, that's different. To me, that's personal. And when you come for community, community answers back. So, Fame family, let me know what y'all think. Am I tripping, or was this always the inevitable ending? Like, comment, subscribe, and remember, Hip hop doesn't need a culture police from Saskatchewan. Hip hop already has a community that does that, and communities decide who gets invited back. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace and love.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this and sworn like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this, wish out you a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your fucking head. This that put the kids to bed, this that I got